my name is Odile Kane. I'm 25 years old from Austin, Texas, and as I'm sure you can tell, I'm an IT telecommunications engineer. I cook every day for my husband and the parade of dinner guests who are in and out of here nightly. I grew up in beautiful Austin, Texas, where my mother used to work in a restaurant. My culinary endeavors began around elementary school, where at home I would be my mother's sous chef. And by that, I mean eating half the cake batter, but in my defense, it was for the sake of quality control. I have no culinary training to speak of, other than the wisdom imparted upon me by my mother and a lot of Food Network stars. And one day, I would really like to open a bakery. I like to make a variety of dishes. One of them is dressing up chicken, in my take on a family favorite taught to me by my mother. It's peppered chicken with a cream sherry reduction and poached fruits. When you bite into the chicken, you have these savory peppercorns that are coated in the caramelized exterior brought to you by the cream sherry reduction, and then it's soft and juicy inside. Then you pair that with soft, succulent, buttery texture of the poached fruits in their own nectar, and you get a syrupy glaze over the top. When you have that savoriness and sweetness together, it is utterly delicious. I love to bake, especially cakes, and dense cakes at that. I feel like if you can't knock somebody out with it, not worth it. My favorite is my apricot cream cheese Danish cake. It's got velvety cream cheese and a moist interior, and it's sweet, but it's offset by the tartness of baked apricots on top. It's delicious, with a couple drops of honey on top, and then add some lemon thyme or some lemon basil for earthiness, and you will be in heaven. My husband's favorite thing to eat is lamb, and his favorite preparation is when I roll it up into a roulade. First off, I flatten it out, and let me tell you, that is very convenient for taking out frustrations from middle of the night engineering emergency calls. But then I spoon on some of my homemade pesto. I put on some sun-dried tomatoes, some fresh basil leaves, and, because I'm French, plenty of cheese. Roll it back up, tie it with some twine, and then I saute it to get a nice crispy exterior and a buttery sauce. Goes into the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, and then when I slice into it at the end, it's got a juicy, hearty lambness that comes with the nuttiness of the cheese and the freshness of the pesto. And it results in 100% chance of happy husband every time. My signature dish, and my sister's personal favorite, is my goat cheese tomato tart. Ironically, my sister and I grew up being terrified of goat cheese because the way my dad likes it, it's black, blue, moldy on the outside, and so hard you need to throw a knife at it to cut it. So by the time my parents got to the cheese course, we would evacuate the room. Now, later in life, we've developed an affinity for mild, creamy goat cheese. So this dish has a lot of it, and every time I make it, there are requests to add more. It's getting to the point where it looks like snow on top. It's got soft, juicy, succulent heirloom tomatoes, herbes de Provence, fresh basil leaves, some Dijon mustard, that's where my grandmother is from, and then a little bit of honey on top. Added with the crispy crust, it is really good, and unfortunately every time I make it, there are never any leftovers. So welcome to my kitchen, and yes, this is really my kitchen. I realize it's really big, but that was the motivation behind buying this house. Recently, my husband and I had our housewarming, and we were actually able to fit about 30 people into this room, which is great because why not hang out in the kitchen, especially if it's going to be this pretty. I really like being able to be here cooking and then have my guests over here on the side at the stools hanging out. That way I'm not lonely, they're being entertained, it's a 2-for-1 kind of thing. And if we don't happen to have guests over that night, I usually can get my husband to hang out here with me. You can see his computer there, and that way he's keeping me company. My father's side of the family is from Provence, that's the south of France. My mother's side is from Buenos Aires in Argentina, so we've got a very multicultural family, and my husband is from China, so we've got most of the continents covered. So my style of cooking is very indicative of my father's side of the family. My mom does all the cooking at home, so I was taught early in life lots of herbes de Provence. That's more than you'll probably ever see of that in your lifetime. lots of pignoli, tomatoes, pesto, cheeses, making ratatouille, lots of those regional dishes that are indicative of the south of France and Italy, since that's fairly close by as well. Also, being Mediterranean, I use a lot of the region's favorite condiment, which is extra virgin olive oil. Goes on everything, and since most foods are fat soluble, very useful thing to have. I'd say that in the kitchen I'm usually polite and courteous, and
we're dancing and it feels alright. Can't hold me down, gotta reach for the sky.
Outside of the kitchen, I think friends and family would say that I'm nice, looking to make people happy, because that's usually my end goal for everything. And also, in the evenings, after we've been chatting a bit and the dinner's done, a little narcoleptic. So by the time we're going off to the couch to hang out, it usually doesn't mean I'm going to be conscious very much longer.
I don't know how they...
Degrassing?
Degrassing. You know, they took all the grass away, right? They changed it from the...
Yeah,
exactly.
love the women's suffrage stuff.
Everybody loves corgis.
Good.
They have corgis.
But outside of the kitchen, which is where I spend most of my time when I'm not at work, I like to play the violin. I love swing dancing with my husband. That's one of the things that first brought us together when we first started dating. And then he's a big video gamer, so I like to hang out and watch him play video games, and also feed him cookies and things and see if I can distract him while he's playing, which is a lot of fun. I love watching Chopped, and I've seen just about every episode. I was very inspired when Danielle Saunders won the second season of Chopped Champions, because it was great to see a lady take home the win. My favorite judge has got to be Alex. I really like how blunt and honest she is. But I have to say, I have a bunny, her name is Bunny, and she likes to watch Chopped with me, and she is a really big Marcus fan. She has his memoir, and she even has an autograph from him. You can see it says Bunny right there. And the other judge I'd like to make a comment about is I've noticed that just about every Chopped judge has made an appearance in some sort of culinary competition on Food Network, except Scott Conant. What is he afraid of? I deserve to be on Chopped because, let's face it, you have yet to have a half French, half Argentine, IT, nerdy, engineering girly girl on the show. I've seen just about every episode. You haven't had one yet. I need to represent. And I'm going to win because the culinary world, like the engineering world, is male-dominated. And I may be a girly girl, but I'm a tough one. So one last time, my name's Odile Kane. I'm 25 years old from Austin, Texas, and I'm your next amateur Chopped champion. See you later.